All right, guys. I have DJ with us. DJ, how are you?
Pretty good, Jeff.
Now, last time DJ was on, we were talking about a flood that occurred in Whitewood, which is in Buchanan. I was saying it wrong, and apparently a subscriber had corrected me in the comment section. All this time I was saying Buchanan, but anyway, a flood occurred in Whitewood, um, in other parts of Buchanan County. Now, you were trying to get a hold of me. I had already gotten an email. We touched bases, and we both kind of at the same time said, Dogman, you
Yep.
had told us about another find on the opposite side of town.
Right.
And I'm going to give you the mic to talk about that a little bit. And then I've got something I want to bounce off of you because I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days since we talked, and it something doesn't smell right, and I want to kind of bounce it off you because you're a local there. So the mic is yours. Share away with what you told me earlier about that last find.
All right, Jeff. As we had previously discussed, I had another person that I know that lives in one of the small coal mining communities known as Van Zandt. And his property borders an old mine that was once owned by Console. The property runs by his. They actually made in a fence. And it had rained so much, they had a landslide over there. And when he was out poking around and looking for stuff, he discovered something in the rubble, and he said it was awful pale, and he wouldn't go into any more details of that day. Well, I gave him a couple of days later to calm down, and finally, when I touched base with him again, he gave me a little bit more description. It was a crawler, and from what he's seen of it, he said he's already wanting to sell his home and move. He said that it was ugly, what he could see of it. I reckon the whole right side from the head all the way down to the arm, the shoulder blade was crushed. When the rubble had come down, it got caught between. However, it ended up that way between two rocks, and it acted like a press and just crushed it. And he said he's seen the blood, but he said he's never seen anything bleed like this. He said it was crimson, which everybody knows crimson is a dark maroon like a red, but he said it was so colored it was almost purple.
Wow.
And he said the left arm was at least 4 foot long. He said he'd never seen nothing like that before. He said it looked a lot like what he called a pale Ethiopian. He said it was just skin stretched over bone. And he said the fingers were ugly looking, like they just had, he don't know if it was, he didn't get close to look. He don't know if it was long nails or the fingers just like they were shaped to a point. He said he's not for sure on that. But he did see its feet. And he said what he thought it was either disfigured or it had three toes. He said it looked like to him it had three ugly looking toes that he's never seen nothing like that before. And he said they come in, and I don't know what phone call was who, but anyway, these guys came in. They said they were contracted out by the people that owns the mineral rights to the mine, and they come in and started working. And they were actually digging the rubble away. They brought a backhoe in there, and they were digging away the rubble. But he said the first shovel, they picked up the remains of this crawler and set it in a different kind of truck. He said they had two dump bodies there. They filled the rest of the rubble up in both of them, but this truck had what he called bed rails that come up about 3 foot. And he said you could take them off, and then you could have a flatbed. They put that in the back of that truck, and it went a different way. And he never seen it more after that. But the other trucks kept coming back as they were digging that hole, and they were trying to fix it and get rid of the rubble. He don't know what happened to it. And he really don't care to know, but he's already talking. He wants to leave. And he said the reason he didn't talk was because he has seen vehicles Well, one in particular around his home watching him. He says it's not a dark colored SUV. It's not the MIB color. He said it's some kind of sedan. It's blacked out windows and has government use tags on it. And he said this is the same vehicle's been sitting across from his home ever since he made a report of this thing. So he figured he's been watched. But he's scared to death. And he says, I told him they used to sell everything he got and move. He said, well, I know better. He said, I know if there's one, there's more.
Yeah.
And if they have one entrance or whatever happened here, that nature exposed it, he said, there's several more that we don't know about. He said, I want out of here.
Yeah.
So these things have actually scared him stiff just by the thought of them.
No, he said that when they covered up the hole in the mine, he felt that they could just burrow right out of it.
Yeah, he said that the bucket was digging above where the hole was exposed and knocking down rubble from the roof and just like pushing the bucket straight into the hole, tamping in there like you would be tamping a post.
Okay.
And he said it's just small rock and dirt. They keep packing it and packing it, but I have to admit, something digs to something long enough. If it's not got a lot of weight or retention behind it, they'll dig back out. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But he is talking. He wants totally out of this community.
Yep. Now, something that caught my ear when we were talking is the three-toed foot. A lot of people have said they've seen these kind of large three-toed footprints in the woods, and people attribute it to Dogman, which it could be, might not be, but I'm starting to think that these things are a lot more prominent in the American forest than we think. I think there's a lot of misidentification in footprints. You know what I mean?
I agree totally with you. Yes. He said it was grotesque looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said the limbs were extremely long. He said the arm was at least 4 foot long, if not longer, from what he's seen exposed down to this thing's fingertips. And he said the leg wasn't as long as what the arm was hanging down.
And its head was what, caved in, or its left side was smashed in? Is that what you
The
said?
whole head and the right hand side of the body, from the head, the arm, and the shoulder blade was crushed.
Okay.
It was caught between two rocks and just, I reckon, crushed flat.
What 22 rock? What's that?
Excuse me?
What did you say? 22 rocks?
No, he said it was smashed between two rocks.
Oh, between two rocks. Okay.
Yeah, two big boulders. However it came to be, it ended up, it got its head and its right arm stuck between these two rocks, and it's just like pushing a fly lard between two pennies and applying pressure, it just squashed it.
Okay.
And he said the blood, what he's seen of it, with blood, when it dries, everybody knows it turns a dark brown, almost black substance.
Yeah.
He said this stuff was so crimson it was purple.
Yeah.
And it never dried. He said he didn't know if it was brain matter or what, but he said the blood that was in it was running all the way down that side of the rock and into the mud, and it was real thick, and it was so crimson it was purple. He said it looked like splatting out purple jam. Huh. He said it was disgusting. He'd never seen nothing like that in his life.
Right. Now,
so whatever he thinks, he said that he doesn't think this thing bleeds normal blood like we would.
Right. Yeah. The flash flood, that storm, I've been thinking about this. And it seemed to be almost a centrally located storm.
Yep.
If you think about it. And I might be off, and it may be because I've been going down conspiracy, I call it truth, rabbit holes. But within the last couple of years, screw it, 1 year. We'll just say 1 year from today to last year. as of this date, there's been numerous missing people, numerous strange deaths. Um, I'm sure that people are starting to question things. And part of me, as I was thinking about this, centralized storm, back a couple years ago, there was a lot of chemtrails and a lot of I guess conspiracy saying that HARP was making some weather patterns in Virginia,
Right.
and I think that that might have happened. You know, you have a very centrally located storm to maybe just take out all of whatever, you know, maybe to drown out these creatures, or maybe to just kind of create a catastrophe to cover up, you know, to get people's minds out of, hey, you know, there's 8 people missing, 6 people found torn up, this, and that. What are we going to do? Government comes in, says, hey, we've got, I mean, it's not too far fetched. There's been numerous talks within, you know, 10 years of Virginia having these chemtrails and HARP uh, weather patterns in there.
Right.
I
You
just
got a
think,
good point.
yeah, I just think it's strange. You know, you've got the way everything went, very strange. 44 people missing, all found thankfully alive.
Amen.
Um, but you've got vehicles, government vehicles, in and out of there. You've got a centrally located railway, you know, places to land helicopters. I think something is up with it. You know, I don't think it was a freak of nature storm.
No, I don't either, because like you said, it seems like it hits a specialized target, and that's not the only time this has happened. This is the third or fourth time that area has been flooded out like that, and another area in West Virginia, over in McDowell County, near Mercer County, has been hit like this,
Yeah.
and it's happened since 2000. This has happened. This is the third or fourth time this has happened in this same area since 2000. So I think you're on something big time.
Yeah. I mean, I might be off, but I just some it doesn't seem right. And where the storm was and where they hit, it was almost like pinpointed, you know, a very strange weather pattern. Yeah, the weather patterns we've had as of late are very strange, but you know, this was almost it feels deliberate. It feels
Right.
like it was either meant to cover up and get people's minds off of things. You know how the news does it, and the government
Mm-hmm.
works with the news. Hey, let's create a catastrophe, or
That,
it was used as a weapon.
right. Either way, you're right. It's wherever you aim your gun and pull the trigger, it's going to hit.
Yeah.
And no other area around here, like where I'm at, I'm just barely in Buchanan County. I'm on the other side of the county. But we didn't get hit with it.
Right. That's why I was thinking about it. I'm like, if DJ didn't get hit where he was, but these guys got hit hard, and you know, Whitewood got smashed in that area.
Yep.
And yet, if you look at the map of Whitewood, you have a place isolated, but it's so isolated, but it has um, areas that you can use to get things in and out very quickly and
Right.
without being noticed at all. You
Exactly.
know, you've got a railway line right next to a creek and a road that all leads to mines and stuff like that. You know, it just, I don't know, something's off about it. And I think for some reason, Buchanan County and Tazewell in Mercer County, West Virginia, It feels like it's right out of the Twilight Zone, man.
I gotta agree with you. You're exactly right. Last time I checked, the targeting system of Mother Nature was not this sophisticated.
Yeah.
But like you hit on a good point. I think there's possibly something behind the scenes, pulling cloudbursts and everything else besides Mother Nature.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's very strange that we haven't heard uh you've still got three people missing. Myra
Right,
Ramey, the old fella, that went missing. I forgot his name, and a younger kid, not kid, but a younger guy in his
right.
20s. So that's young to me. Um, it just I don't know if we're gonna hear anything about that or those folks because now it's they can use these storms or this storm as a way of covering things up too. It just something's really wrong with Tazewell, Buchanan, and Mercer counties. I wouldn't want to live there because of just the weirdness factor.
Yeah, I could say the same thing. It's like living in Erie, Indiana, but this part of it's Virginia.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like just a beautiful place, but not a good place to think that you're safe. You've got a lot of legends of Dogman. I mean, you still got Eric Smith missing with no anything looking for him.
Exactly.
Poor guy's mom is got a $50,000 reward out for him, and
It's several $1,000s.
it's really a sad and thought provoking kind of set of events that have recently occurred in that area, and I don't things like that just don't happen centralized like that.
No.
That much uh, travesty, I guess you'd call it, because
Mm-hmm.
Virginia's not a small state.
No,
But this one
not at all.
location, it seems like it's just like pumping out bad news left and right. So,
Yes.
well, I hope your friend, God, I hope he gets what he wants for his property, and I hope that unfortunately, you're going to lose a friend, but the telephone and internet work, so you can communicate with him that way. But I hope that he gets out of there because his house is right. What was his house right next to that mine or something?
He said this was under 100 yards from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there either. Just the way and then you said that he had noticed some strange stuff prior to all this too, right?
Yeah, he said that, he's heard stuff running beside him in the woods and different odd sounds that he didn't know what they was, and stuff moving through the brush real quick at night, and loud sounds and screeches. But he just touched it off as he didn't know what it was, so it didn't worry. And now he says it all makes sense. What I've heard. Oh, there are these things,
Yeah.
and why his dogs never go in the woods alone. So, and they're scared of it. They've been scared to go in the woods for the last 3 years.
Huh.
So I guess now he's got the answer he looked for, but he just didn't bargain on getting the answer he wanted.
Exactly. Exactly. DJ, I appreciate you talking to your friend, and he's in my prayers. It's a shame, and if you hear anything else, please let me know, and please stay safe because I you're a valued friend of mine. So, um, anything happening up your way? No noises, no
No, I
sightings as
haven't.
of recent.
Not of recently, thank the good Lord.
How about the other family members? Your wife's aunt and uncle. Nothing up that way anymore.
No, but they've switched firearms. He's got a firearm by the front door. He's got a firearm by the back door. He carries one with him around the house, and he's got one with him sitting in the living room. So he's evidently seen something and not talking about like we discussed there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the type, even if that's proved him wrong, he's not going to admit it.
yeah. And when
But
you and I were talking last on the map, you showed me
Yeah,
And it's prime location. I mean, that cemetery up on the ridge, and just it's you got a cemetery in the middle of the woods.
yeah,
I mean, that's, and we all know that Dogman loves cemeteries.
yeah. They love sitting on the grave or sleeping on the graves. They say,
Yeah, so
and just hanging out there. I don't know why, but they do.
yeah, so I mean, it's far away from public. Nobody's gonna bother him. I'm sure there's a bunch up there, and gosh, good luck to you, my friend.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks.
Do me a favor, don't hang up. I want to talk to you a little more. Thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate all the news that you bring to us.
Not a problem.
All right. All right. So, with this kind of storm, it was very centralized, and I really hate going down rabbit holes where people will look at us or me and be like, "You got your aluminum foil cap on today a little too tight, Jeff." But I really think that the government, the Virginia government, got just fed up. There's been so many unexplained disappearances. The bodies, when they're discovered, are randomly placed, torn apart, or not even randomly placed. They're strategically placed. Like the Timothy Honecker found in a culvert tunnel that people a year prior had searched. Yet there's his body torn apart with another body that has not been mentioned still to this day in the news. And the only reason why I know that there was two bodies in there was because I had asked a question to the Tazewell Police Department, whoever answered the phone that day, and I had asked a question about another body being found. And I didn't say in that location, but he did, which I found really shocking. I immediately called DJ after and told him, and he was like, "Whoa, that's really intense." There wasn't a time in the last year. It has slowed down immensely now, but it was almost like something was going on once a month or once every 3 weeks. A body was being found, a person was lost, and the circumstances around them were very strange. So I really think that the government used this storm as a weapon. As a weapon in total. Either they used it as a media cover-up weapon or a weapon to kill the Dogmen. I think the crawler find was a surprise to all. Just going off of what was, said by DJ, and I really think that when DNR received a call or the police department received a call about that and they came and looked at it, whoever picked up, whatever government alphabet agency is responsible for picking up the body in Whitewood off of 638 is responsible for the removal of that body. I'm almost wondering if there were more dogmen found. And the strange thing is how the people were treated. Like the guy who reached out to me was treated when they were done with him, done using his assistance, and like how the DJ's friend was treated, immediately forced off of that land and pretty much forced into his home. Like we don't need you here, get out of here. There's things that no show here, guys, no show here, but yet there is. Um, I really think that there is some really high strangeness going on in this area of Virginia and West Virginia. And I think people need to be careful in that location. Um, it's not a place to go walking after dark without a firearm or a friend. And if any one of my subscribers besides DJ and another fella listens to this channel and they're from that area, have a flashlight with you and some sort of personal protection. So, but yeah, I think they knew wholeheartedly what they were doing. They did it, and they had the cleanup crew right there. It wasn't like hours away. It was right there. Couple trains. All right, we pull them in. Doot doot. Done. Oh, you need box cars. Doot doot. Done. Load them up, and let's get out of here. That's how it went down, guys. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this information that I shared with you. I thank DJ for his contribution to this channel. It means a lot. I have the utmost respect for him and all of you guys. We're not just a channel. This is a family. So thank you for just being here. So may the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.